Retail Podcast, a global conversation hosted by Alex Razvan Viennet.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Retail Podcast. Again, just by coincidence, I didn't confirm whether or not we're going to Israel or New York, but we do have another international guest on the show today, and someone who I was in the same room, in the same vicinity during NRF, but we just never managed to record the interview. But I found that they were doing a super interesting business, and I think it's one that we're just going to keep seeing more and more. So without any hesitation, let me bring Adi to the stream. Hey Adi, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Very good, thank you very much. I was just explaining that we were both in the same city, this probably the same room at the same time, just too busy to get together. For those who don't know, Adi is the co-founder CEO of Buywith. How would you describe Buywith, Adi?
Yes, so we're doing live commerce. We have two main solutions. So one is the one-to-many solution. It means that we enable brands and retailers to host live sessions on top of their website with influencers, experts, celebrities, or their own employees, brands, expert. Yeah. And the other solution that we recently launched is one-to-one solution that enables brands and retailers to put an expert or a customer service or a sales associate that is doing one-to-one session with the end users on the website.
Okay. I mean, we've got an actual live stream that we're going to tap into in a minute, doing immensely well with your growth business. And so we're going to jump around a little bit, but I'm conscious as the stream's only going to be on for 45 or 25 minutes. If we can go to the stream and you can tell the audience what they're seeing, and then if it's okay, we'll come back to you. And I'd love to, what words of wisdom for the audience who are thinking about maybe starting their own business or being the future female founders. So let me bring up the stream for us so we can see what's going on. So this is going on right now. What part of the world is this in?
Yeah, this is the US, I think. It's a live session on top of Walmart with two influencers. They're doing every live session together, and they're bringing their followers to watch them shop live on Walmart.com. So they could browse the website, they could show their items via the video, and people are asking questions in the chat, buying the items during the live, interacting with the host.
I've got to say, it's duvets, and it's got 500 people watching duvets from these two ladies, which just is incredible, because they are customers who are tuning in to see these ladies talk about the home, I presume it's homeware and stuff.
Yes. And they give a lot of tips and recommendations. And I think that this is something that's very important for us to have authentic recommendations by the creators to the audience. I think that this is what people like, not to have someone that's just selling them items, but really to get value, to learn stuff, to know which item they should buy, not in a pushy way, but more in a way that they get value through the live session. If it's tips, recommendations, discounts, a lot of times, they could, get the opportunity to ask questions, and they could also participate in polls. This is an example of a game during the live that people can vote. Which item?
Is that what they're doing now? We're going to guess which item was most wanted so far, but to see the live results. I remember speaking to a CIO of a major US retailer who 5-6 years ago was adamant that this couldn't work, just by the nature that, population of 270 million people in the US. How would you manage that? How would you create relationships with your brand across such a vast community? And right now I can see, so how is the community created? Is this a community that lives with Walmart, that's these two ladies are sort of strong in, or is it the ladies community that's coming across to the brand? So would they next week be on target.com, or how does it work?
Yeah, so it's the creators community, and they bring them to the live session
Got you.
wherever they shop. But this is an advantage of what we do at Buywith, that in addition to the technology we developed of the live session,
Yeah,
we also have the community of the creators.
got
So
you.
we try to give an A to Z solution for our clients
Yeah,
that they could just use our Buywith Stars host, and that's way they could get good hosts that they're already trained, they already were vetted, and they could just go live in no time with the host based on their past performance. So it's easier for them to choose, because we know that not every influencer can be good in live shopping session. Not every influencer can bring traffic to a live shopping session, or to have the audience engage, or to sell and create high conversion rates.
yeah.
So this is a very big advantage, that we have this community of creators that we are working with. It's a
So if I
market.
wanted to buy that butter holder right now, is this transactive, or is this more information? So
No,
can I
no.
buy right now?
So this is exactly what happened in the session right now. Once you click on the want button that were on top of the product,
Yeah.
it's added directly to your cart on Walmart, and you could also buy it immediately on the spot. And during the live, still see the lives, still see the video, and buy the items. Here you see the want button. So if
Oh, I
you
see.
click,
So that yellow frame,
yes,
that yellow is an actual buy button.
yes, the want button enable you to buy it immediately, to add it to the cart, and also it's saving the items for you for after. So after the session, you get the list of all the items you marked as a want during the live. You have it saved for you in your phone.
You must get crazy conversion, upsell and cross sell, right? Because I'm excited just watching this. What type of conversion can retailers expect with this type of solution?
Yeah, we're seeing between 10 to 40% conversion rate across verticals. So it's high for e-commerce. Benchmark for e-commerce it's around 2%. So between 10 to 40, it's really incredible.
So that I can see there's three parts to Buywith, in terms of you have your influencer community, you have the technology, and then obviously you have all of the transactional e-commerce elements, or that falls part of the technology, but more that sits on the e-commerce website. What's your sort of major in, or do you actually major in all three components for retailers?
Yeah, I think that first of all, we are a tech company. We developed a very, very unique technology that is very different from the other companies in the landscape of live commerce. So we have the shop with me experience. We have, the registration process with SMSs. So we have a good tech. So first of all, we are a tech company. But the idea of the creators community is to complete the tech and give an added value that enables our clients scale their live shopping activity. So then they have the technology, but they also have the service. And we have team inside our marketing team that are specifically expert for influencer marketing. So there are a few people that this is their role for Buywith, and this is what they do all day for our clients. Exactly like you see here, because we saw that to select the right host for the session is the key for a successful session. It's very, very important to have the right host.
And what do you see this as I mean, I know you're a software tech business that's doing this, and so therefore you can go into other the technology to migrate into other areas. But just as I'm curious, with all the customers that you speak to, when you look at the future of retail, do you see this as being a new economy in terms of I know the influencer economy exists, but actually the influencer economy selling, which is very big in China, but not necessarily being as big in Western countries. Well, just curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think that definitely influencer marketing is one of the strongest marketing channel these days for brands. And we see brands that lean most of their marketing effort on influencer marketing. You see some D2C brands, some brands that really grow from the influencer community and did great work, like Revolve, for instance, a huge fashion brand. So I think that it's different from China, definitely, but a lot of, I would say, Gen Z and millennials really consume a product based on influencers' recommendations.
Yeah.
And there are influencers that don't have influence at all. Okay, there are some profiles that have a lot of followers, but no one would listen to them. However, you have the other side. You have some influencers that everything that they would say, the followers would do. It's like they admire these people, if it's their style, if it can be even their humor, right? They're like,
Yeah.
and they're living with them. They're literally living and consuming their content. So I think it really depends on what we saw on the influencer profiles. Some profiles could be very, very strong, generate a lot of revenue to the brands, bring a lot of people to a live session, and some really won't. And a lot of time we see that it's also in specific niche. So when an influencer have like a niche in the community, so it's usually stronger.
In terms of inclusion and sort of the range of different diverse perspectives that you get, how much are you finding that as a sort of a value to what you're bringing, that diversity of influencer? Because obviously Instagram is predominantly dominated by female influencers, but I'm just curious: is it growing across all sectors?
Yeah. So first of all, I can tell you that for our clients, diversity in the host is very, very important. So we're trying to be very diverse and bring influencers from a lot of types. However, female influencers are more common to find. It's easier to find and to engage with them. We also look for specific criteria in their profile: very high engagement rate, have very high link clicks. It means that they know how to send traffic from social media to outside. And usually we see more female than male. Yeah.
Obviously, I will be sending you my CV, and if you do want to have, old men acting as influencers, happy to sell any type of product on any stream. But anyway, moving away from if you like the core business and just coming back to you as a female founder and CEO of a business. We did have a series where we focused on female founders, the challenges that they've had, the lessons that they've learned, and experiences they could share. I was just wondering if it's okay, Adi, if we could just sort of step away from Buywith for a minute and just talk about in terms of your experience as being a female founder and empowering, right? How would we empower the next wave of female founders? I'd just love to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, definitely. This is a topic that is really close to my heart. So as a female founder, it wasn't easy. I can tell you that I gave birth 1.5 years ago.
Oh.
I have a baby, and I did it during fundraising for the company and during signing really important and large deals for the company. And it was beforehand, it was very afraid to think, can I do it together? Do I need to choose, between, a family and a baby and the company? Because the company all the time was in a good momentum, and I need to fundraise, and I waited for a lot of time. And my husband suddenly said, listen, Adi, we can't wait anymore. We need to bring this baby. So I said, okay, let's do that. And then I got a lot of support from my investors, saying that investors that would join the company would need to understand that this is part of my life and
Yeah.
this is part of the reality. And if they can't understand it, they're not the right investors to join Buywith.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of support from the investors, and I did it, and I'm happy for that. And I think it sends a very strong message for female founders, female business leaders, that you don't need to choose between family or being a mom and to start or to own a business, and eventually you can combine. It
Yeah.
has some price, right? But
Yeah.
you need support, but still it's doable. And we need to believe that we can do that. And I talked back then with other female founders that did really great during few pregnancies. So I think that this is very important. And also another thing that I would say, that today there are a lot of opportunities for female founders. For instance, we were part of the New York Fashion Tech Lab program,
Right.
and, and it's for female founders. It's an amazing accelerator that connects startup companies in the fashion world, tech companies, to the biggest fashion brands in the US. So you have these opportunities. You have investors that have in their criteria to invest in female founders. We got an innovation grant from the Innovation Authority, also because of that. So it's not, you need to have also a good company, a good
Yeah.
technology. You need to show traction. So no one would invest just because you are a female, right?
No.
But you could leverage the opportunities in the market and use it. So, and this is something that I chose to do. By the way, I have a male co-founder, and I
Okay.
think that I feel that we complete each other with a lot of stuff. So, a lot of stuff that I'm bringing as a woman, and he, we have this.
You complement each other.
Yes, yeah.
As I was listening to you, you mentioned, sorry, are you based in the US or you're in Israel? Are you
I'm
in
now in
between the two?
Israel, but spending a lot of time in the US as well.
And Buywith is where are you headquartered? I guess where in the world are you?
So we have office in Tel Aviv, but we
Okay.
also have in the US. We have a lot of employees across all country. We also have a UK office now.
Oh, cool.
So we started to work with the European market recently, and it's very cool.
Okay. Just going back to, in terms of when you were talking about your going through your investment and raising capital and funding and everything, are there any key lessons or any key learnings that you had during that process that you think, obviously the one thing I heard is don't let, if you want to have a family, have the family. You can do both things at the same time. But are there any specific lessons that you felt you didn't know, and if you knew then would really help you now? Or sorry, when you were going through there, if someone had told you this, would have made a bit of a difference?
Yeah, I think that what I did the entire journey is really use advisors.
Right.
So these advisors really helped me with, the entire, everything that we went through. I all the time, consulted with people. I surrounded myself with people with experience, and this was very, very good. I think that maybe something that I wasn't that good, and now I improved. And this was that sometimes you have employees that you bring and they don't deliver good enough. And I gave a lot of opportunities and more time, and I believed in them a lot. And sometimes it's better to cut it faster if you see that someone is not doing great for the company,
Yeah.
and not, it doesn't meet the goals. So you need to cut faster. So for me, it was a lesson that I learned. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. Well, I'm going to be super respectful with your time. We're going over a little bit on the time that we allocated for the interview. Adi, thank you so much for taking the time for talking us through it. The website is buywith.com, right?
Right. Yeah.
Brilliant. And then obviously, as you said, you're a global company, so people can find you in wherever they are in the world.
Definitely. Yeah.
The Retail Podcast, a global conversation hosted by Alex Razvan Buywith.